Imagine one day, while you were going about your business, a girl approached you and asked if you could break her virginity. Later, you discover that her sister is the person you have feelings for, and her dad is going to marry your mom. This happened when Natsuo, who had gone to visit his friend Fumiya, found himself in a surprising situation. As soon as the door opened, Matsu enthusiastically jumped on Fumiya, who was taken aback by his friend's unexpected reaction. Fumiya inquired about what was happening, and Natsuo explained that he had hatched a plan. Fumiya was quite shocked by Natsuo's response and wanted to know the full story. Natsuo went on to describe how it all began the day before when his friend invited him to a social gathering after school. At the gathering, he met a girl named Ru, who introduced herself after everyone else had. Ru appeared to be reserved and quiet. She stepped out of the room to get a drink, and Natsuo followed, asking if she was enjoying the event. He noticed that she had been in a bad mood during the gathering. Natsuo clarified that he was simply curious. Ru explained that her quietness was her usual demeanor and that she wasn't accustomed to social gatherings. Natsuo shared that he also wasn't comfortable at such events. Eventually, Natsuo and Ru started talking, and Ru asked Natsuo if they could leave the gathering together discreetly. While walking outside, Natsuo worried that their friends might be concerned about them. Ru, however, reminded him of an unspoken agreement about sneaking out. She then requested a small favor, to which Natsuo agreed. They headed to Ru's house, where she assured Natsuo that no one would return home at that time, surprising him. Inside her bedroom, Ru made an unexpected request for something known as the axe of the hub. Natsuo was taken aback and questioned her motives. Ru explained that she wanted to gain experience and not be treated like a child. She also mentioned not having romantic interests or any plans for a boyfriend. Although Natsuo hesitated at first, they both, being inexperienced, ended up sharing an intimate moment. Natsuo's recount of these events later shocked Fumiya. Natsuo felt uneasy about how easily he had given in, knowing that Ru wasn't his crush. The following day at school, while Natsuo was on the rooftop working on his novel, his teacher Hina approached him. She asked why he wouldn't let her read the novel, as he had promised. Natsuo insisted that she could read it once he was done. Natsuo and Hina then recalled the first time they met during a similar time. Hina seemed troubled, and when Natsuo offered to listen, she dismissed his concerns, saying that children were outside her field of interest. This made Natsuo storm out, expressing his frustration with being treated like a child. The next day, Natsuo found Hina crying on the roof. He attempted to find out what was bothering her, but she didn't open up, insisting that she was okay. Natsuo told her he was only concerned about her, but Hina mentioned the responsibilities of adults. This upset Natsuo, who stormed off, asking her to stop treating him like a child. Their conversation was interrupted by a phone call. Back at Natsuo's house, his father revealed he was remarrying, which didn't sit well with Natsuo. As they talked, there was a knock at the door. Natsuo was surprised to find out that his crush and the girl with whom he'd had his first intimate encounter were sisters, and that his dad was marrying their mother. They all moved into a new house. After dinner, everyone else went to bed except for Natsuo and Hina. Natsuo tried to make a move on Hina, who had fallen asleep on the couch, but Ru interrupted him. Ru pushed Hina off the couch and took her to her room. Natsuo stayed awake in his bed, reflecting on the events of that evening. As a result, Natsuo went to bed late and woke up late, rushing off to school unprepared. His friends at school were surprised by his disheveled appearance. When Natsuo and his friends entered the classroom, they encountered Ru, who had been transferred to their school. She was on the verge of revealing that Natsuo was her stepbrother, but he quickly covered her mouth, and they left the classroom. Natsuo explained to Ru that it was best to keep their sibling relationship and their previous encounter a secret. They both agreed to keep it confidential. During lunchtime, Natsuo noticed Ru sitting alone and asked if she hadn't been invited to join anyone. Ru explained that she had pushed away some girls who were trying to befriend her due to her attitude, which left her alone. Natsuo offered to help her with special training to make friends. They staged a play that captured their classmates' attention, and in the end, Ru made some new friends. Later in the evening at home, as Natsuo was about to take a bath, he unexpectedly encountered Ru in the bathroom. Ru invited Natsuo to join her, which he hesitated about. Ru pointed out that he was already undressed, and eventually, Natsuo entered the bathroom, turning this into a step-sibling episode from a certain website. Natsuo asked Ru why she had tried to kiss him the previous night and if Hina had shared something about her boyfriend, suspecting she might have needed cheering up. However, Natsuo disclosed that he didn't know anything about it. Ru replied that there was no point in discussing it and left the bathroom. The next morning, Natsuo's dad announced to Hina, Ru, and Natsuo that he was going on a date with Ru's mother. In class at school, Natsuo was lost in thought, contemplating Hina's cooking skills. After dinner at home, Ru went to her room, leaving Natsuo with Hina in the kitchen. They were having a conversation when Hina tripped, and Natsuo caught her, reminiscent of a scene from a Korean romantic comedy. However, their moment was interrupted by Hina's phone call. She told Natsuo that she was going out for a bit, which concerned him. He mentioned the late hour and suggested she shouldn't go out alone at night. Hina reassured him not to worry, saying she would be fine. After a while, Natsuo decided to look for Hina. As he was about to leave, Hina stormed in, appearing angry and upset. Natsuo tried to find out what was bothering her, but their parents arrived home, interrupting them. Natsuo was genuinely concerned about Hina's situation with her boyfriend. After school, he visited Fumiya at his workplace, and Fumiya noticed that Natsuo seemed worried. He asked if it was about Ru or Hina. Natsuo explained to Fumiya what had happened the previous night with Hina's upset and worried reaction to her boyfriend's call. Fumiya suggested that Natsuo might be feeling jealous due to another man's presence and shared that he had experienced a similar situation. Upon returning home, Natsuo went to Hina's door and she invited him in. He asked if she was having an affair, and she admitted it. This led Natsuo to leave her room, but as he was about to speak, Hina kissed him. Things escalated quickly, and they ended up in an intimate moment, making this another step-sibling episode. However, when Hina saw the fear in Natsuo's eyes, she realized he still looked like a child and stopped their actions. Natsuo left her room. The next morning, Natsuo's dad went to wake him up, but Natsuo was gone, leaving only a note explaining he wouldn't be coming home anytime soon and reassuring them not to worry as he was staying at a friend's place. The entire family was left shocked and distressed by Natsuo's sudden departure. When Fumiya returned home from work, he found Natsuo still sleeping and inquired if he had gone to school. It was at this point that Fumiya learned Natsuo hadn't attended school. Natsuo revealed his intention to take a break from school, causing concern for everyone. They sent him text messages, including his father and his two friends, Yuya and Kazu, from school. Fumiya felt responsible for what happened to Natsuo, but Natsuo made it clear that it wasn't his fault. Natsuo found it challenging to focus on writing his novel as he continued to reflect on Hina's words. He stepped to the window and spotted Ru. At that moment, Natsuo learned from Ru that she had also run away from home. He wasn't pleased, as he thought Ru was copying him by running away. Ru explained that it was a way to protest Hina's affair and shared that she had overheard Hina talking on the phone about her involvement with a married man. Natsuo, Ru, and Fumiya devised a plan to expose Hina's affair. Natsuo and Ru decided to return home, where they discovered their parents sitting in the dark about to sign divorce papers, believing their marriage was the reason their children had run away. The next day at school, Natsuo and Ru began to closely follow Hina, hoping to gather clues about her meetings with her boyfriend. Natsuo admitted to Ru that he was nervous about their plan to discover Hina's boyfriend. Despite following Hina all day, they still couldn't catch her meeting with her boyfriend. The following day, Natsuo and Ru met Fumiya, who suggested that Ru should take Hina's phone and impersonate her to break up with her boyfriend. While Hina was in the shower, Ru sneaked into her room, took her phone, and returned to Natsuo. They called Shu, Hina's boyfriend, but when Ru heard his voice, she froze and couldn't speak. Natsuo, Ru, and Fumiya met at a restaurant and realized their plan had failed. In the middle of their conversation, Hina and Shu entered the restaurant, leaving everyone shocked. Hina explained that she was related to Ru and Natsuo and that they were family. It became evident that she was Hina's boyfriend. Angered, Natsuo confronted Shu, demanding he break up with Hina since he was married to someone else. Natsuo continued to express his disapproval, but Shu remained silent. Natsuo even grabbed Shu's shirt, but Asaki intervened, suggesting that Natsuo, Shu, Hina, and Ru should talk things out. Asaki seemed apologetic and attempted to reason with Natsuo and Ru, but Ru ended up throwing water in Shu's face and ran out of the restaurant. Natsuo followed Ru and reassured her that he understood her feelings, mentioning he would have done the same if Ru hadn't. Ru cried, and Natsuo comforted her. Later, Hina and Shu left the restaurant, and Hina apologized for Ru's actions. Hina then informs Shu that she's decided for them to stay away from each other. The following day, Natsuo and Ru finish breakfast, but when Hana suggests going shopping later, both Natsuo and Ru appear disinterested and leave the dining table. Hina learns from Natsuo's dad that Natsuo plans to visit his mother's grave that day. Natsuo is surprised to discover that Hana and Ru have followed him to his mother's grave. After discussing how they found the place, Hina reveals that her relationship with Shu is over. Subsequently, they pray together at his mother's grave. The love triangle appears to be more complex than ever. Whether it will work out or lead to more complications remains uncertain. If you enjoyed this recap, please let me know in the comments, give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe. Most importantly, activate your notification bell to stay updated for the next recap. Until next time, take care and stay safe.